So yes, Ronus Wagner was originally a Louisville Colonel, and then they actually contracted in the 20th century, and yes, the Louisville Colonels became the Pittsburgh Pirates, or at least the ones that were any good. So there you go. That's you can now follow in the paths and all this. So here we go. Lots of Johnson Cityans are rooting for their hometown products. Well, Daniel Norris pitches against the White Sox today, trying to break a 7-game losing streak. Will Craig, boy, he's got a player in front of him to make the major leagues. Josh Bell, who's going to start the All-Star game, has 26 home runs, playing first base for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're kind of making him the face of the franchise. Right behind him in AAA, but with, hey, I'm a number 1 draft choice here, don't forget me, in his favor is Will Craig. And I know you've been asked this a lot, so once more isn't going to hurt you. When you see, Josh Bell hit 3 home runs in a victory against the Cubs, and that's the guy that ultimately has your position, and he's one step above you. I know you're playing in the futures game, but what's that like when you have such a dominant player playing in the position of the major league team that you are playing in their AAA affiliate for, Will Craig?
Early on it was definitely it was like I felt like I was competing against him. He probably just thinks that, but but for me, I'm so happy for him. He's going out and killing it. He's one of the hardest workers in the organization, hands down. So he deserves everything he's doing right now, everything he's getting. I'm so glad people are finally starting to see the hitter he kind of is. We've seen it. Every year in spring training we see it. So it's really nice for him to get out there and people starting to recognize him, not just in Pittsburgh, but nationally as well. So, it's definitely things. You see that, and every day it's like, okay, well, he hit 3 home runs the other day. It's like, well, I'm gonna go out and do as best I can. So, for me right now, it's just going out there and playing every day and trying to get better every day, little by little. Just trying. So if something happens, God forbid something happens to him or someone else, but if I get the call, then I'll be ready to step in and hopefully help the team win as much as possible.
Well, I know you've played some third base, but I mean, if there is that rock of Gibraltar at first base, look at, let's say, Austin Riley with the Braves. He was a third baseman, but hey, we got to call this guy up, and he's playing left field. What other positions do you think you might be comfortable in playing defensively at this time, Will Craig?
I've been working in right field a little bit, but I take balls and batting practice there every day. I played a couple innings there a couple weeks ago, and then we had some unfortunate injuries, so that was kind of limited that time. But I think playing outfield is definitely something you just got to continue to play every day to kind of get a feel for it. But I thought I did a pretty good job out there, and I've been at third base in a long, long time, so I really couldn't say about that. But it's just one of the things. It's just, you got to go out there every day, and you got to go compete and perform. And if they will call you in the office one day and say, "Hey, we want you to try this or this," then I'll definitely be willing to do it.
Now, you mentioned if they're willing to put you in the office, or you're willing to do this, has the Pirates organization, like I said, you're a first-round pick. I mean, you report to Indianapolis. Have they come to you and said, this is our goal for you, or this is where we see you being in a year or two? Has anybody from the front office said that to you, Will Craig?
No one's really say anything much. Just continue to go out there and play every day and get better, improve in the box, improve in the field, base running just as much as you can. Just so, like I said, when the call does come, that I am ready to step in and fulfill my duties.
Now, a question I want to ask you is, look, if Scott Boras, one of his clients, let's say a starting pitcher, throws too many pitches for his liking, he's usually on the phone to the front office the next day saying, what are you doing, and all this. Have your people, as your agent, actually contacted the front office and say, look, you got a first-round draft choice in Will Craig. He's in the futures game. He's playing in AAA. What is can you think about that right field position for him in the future? Or can you think about another position for him in the future so that he can help the team out too? Have your people talked to the Pirates people is my question.
They haven't really said much. I mean, being in AAA, you don't have a lot to say.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. Sure, yeah.
I'm not on the 40-man roster. I don't have any, big league time, so really don't have a lot of say in that. And it's, you kind of try to bide your time, like I said, and, go out there and whenever you do get the chance, go perform. But, I'm sure something's happening behind the scenes I don't know about. Whether it be, a team calling them about me or maybe something going on. I don't know. But yeah, honestly, you really don't have a lot of say being in the minor leagues and not on the 40-man roster for sure.
Oh, I can definitely understand that. But, hey, the Futures game is going to get you a lot of exposure. Hey, that puts Top Prospect right on your back, Will Craig. So tell me, what was the honor like to be selected to the Futures game?
Oh, it's an awesome experience, an awesome feeling. Just being told that, that you're going to represent your organization, it's definitely something that you don't take lightly, for sure. But, I'm really excited to do that, and, we're in there representing my family as well. Hopefully having the name on my back of my jersey, and, having, wearing the Pirates logo as well. So it's definitely something that's really, really special to me.
Well, we're talking to Will Craig. He used to play at Science Hill. He used to play at Wake Forest. Here's something I guess you probably didn't expect to hear, but just a week ago I actually had the chance to tour the Wake Forest facilities for baseball. Very impressive. And in fact, what some of the listeners may have read about in Sports Illustrated about Trevor Bauer's training regimen. Now, I know you're a hitter and he's a pitcher and such, but they have sort of a computer training that puts little, these little sensors all over your body, and it basically records your mechanics, every little move and all that if you're a pitcher and such. Wake Forest had this. It is really state-of-the-art and all this. I'm just curious, the facilities when you played at Wake Forest, did they have similar things to, say, diagnose your swing with the sensors and all that computer-generated, training facilities back when you played at Wake Forest?
No, they didn't have anything like that. We just had a normal cage and occasion.
Well, there you go. There, he had to do it just the hard way. But no, like I said, I toured that, and I knew it was relatively new, just about a year or two old, Will Craig. But I just, I was saying, wow, Wake Forest was bragging on we're ahead of the curve with this and such. And like I said, it's they'll attach sensors to a ball player. Let's say a pitcher, and just this is what Trevor Bauer actually credits for his success. He does this in Seattle, and it's absolutely, you get the mechanics perfect. The sensors pick it up, assuming you follow what the path tells you to do, that sort of thing, and all this. Anyway, but you are in an Indianapolis Indian. We spoke, I think, last year. I asked you if you liked Sheets, if I recall correctly, there in Altoona, and I guess if you did, you'd like to like them again in Pittsburgh and so. But Double-A and Triple-A, what's the difference? Is the pitching better? Because I know that a lot of people say, hey, Double-A, that's where the real prospects are. What's the difference, caliber, and competition?
I definitely think in AAA the pitching is definitely a lot better than AA. Pitchers have more of an idea of what's going on. They're constantly going up and down between AAA and the big league. So, which means their big league team expects them to come up and perform. So, they definitely have a higher standard for sure. So they have to be more, peculiar and be much more specific on their pitches. So, I definitely think the pitching in AAA is way better. Every single guy has big league time or will have big league time at some point. In AA, you still kind of fringe. You have some guys that do have big league time that are trying to make a comeback, or you have guys that are, could be there for, just to play. But, I do think that, the AAA pitching, playing is a little bit better.
Okay. Do you notice a difference in velocity, more of a break on a curveball, anything like that, or all of it?
Velocity is in all of professional baseball. I would say velocity. I think it's just how you throw it. Just because the guy throws 100 doesn't mean it's a good pitch. The guy throwing 92 but knows what he's doing with it. It could be a lot harder to hit than the guy throwing 100 for sure. But you just don't get quality pitches to hit. Really, if you do, you can't miss them. That's probably what I would say is the hardest.
This is going to be the Pittsburgh element in me right now, but I'm curious about a guy coming through the farm system with the Pirates because, they had a winning record last year. Hey, they're only 4 games out right now, but, hasn't made the World Series since 1979. I've talked to former Pirates, and boy, they had such pride. I'm talking about, the guys from the lumber company era and such, such pride in putting on the Pirate uniform and identifying as Pittsburgh Pirates. But, as time went by, it seemed as if people just couldn't wait to leave as a free agent for a higher paying organization. So I guess when you were first drafted first round by the Pirates, what was your first thought? I want to ask that, Will Craig.
I was really excited. My dream was playing professional baseball and, perhaps playing in a major league team. Being from, Tennessee, you really don't think much about, the teams in Pennsylvania. But once I got drafted by them, I knew they had, guys like Andrew McCutcheon and Garrett Cole at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Big names of the franchise. And they were just coming off of I believe a wild card that year or the year before. So I knew they had, a great team, and they had, a really good history of, performing.
You're talking to someone who actually once sold tickets for the Buccos, to tell you the truth. And like I said, when I was a boy, the last time I won a World Series, I was living in Pittsburgh. That made me a baseball fan. Willie Stargell lived at the bottom of the hill, so you can imagine that, and what that was like. So I do know about the history. Don Sutton on the Braves broadcast will always talk about he loves going to Pittsburgh because of the baseball history. But then again, there was 20 years of nothing but losing as well. So yeah, I was kind of curious. What the impact was when you were drafted by the Bucs and such. Do you feel that's just my final question? An old ball player once told me that even though he pitched for the Cardinals, it was Lee Tunnell in the World Series. Boy, I feel like a pirate. He was wearing a Rangers uniform at the time, as a matter of fact. Is that what you feel like, Will Craig? A pirate?
Yeah, I guess so. I was drafted by the Pirates, and I'm going through the system, so I haven't had a chance to play up there, so I really don't.
I got you. It's more like being an Indianapolis Indian right now.
Exactly.
All right. Here's Will Craig. You know what team he plays for. Futures game on this weekend during the All-Star break, so he may be a Pirate. Some other team might want him and trade for him. We shall see. And I guess the small market, big market, who knows about Josh Bell's future? Tri-Cities Sports Now, coming back after this. All right.